Hello, everyone, and welcome to our very latest replay review live stream for Company of Heroes 3. I'm joined, as always, by some fantastic folks from the dev team. My name is John. I'm one of the community folks here on the team. Plus, Jason and Darren are gameplay designers and balance designers. How you both doing?
Doing all right today. A
Doing
little bit
well.
rainy out there, but we're all here.
Okay.
Good old Vancouver.
You survived. You stayed dry. And of course, we also have from my team Hannah in the producer's chair.
Hey everyone, great to be here today.
So Hannah will be keeping an eye on the chat per usual and pulling out any questions that you folks may have as we go along. So if you have any questions about the matches that we're watching or just more general questions for the team, we might get to those a little bit later after we wrap up. But Jason and Darren, we've got two replays for you folks today. But before we get into those, any sort of expectations, any sort of thoughts, any sort of words of encouragement you want to give to all the players out there before we jump into these replays?
Just very excited to watch you guys play.
Okay.
Need to jump in and see what is on.
All right. So
It's always fun seeing what people do.
let me load up our first replay here. And as that's loading here in the background, so first things first, we're gonna just jump on in. And we're gonna be watching a 4v4 on the new Black Gold. So let's get set up here so we can see what's going on. So this replay was submitted by Ling Ling on the official Relic Entertainment Discord. And they were primarily, I think they were one of the folks on the Axis side. So I think maybe we watch it from that perspective this time around.
Totally unbiased casting.
Yeah, unbiased casting. Jason, maybe let's start with you. Obviously, Will made a bunch of changes to Black Gold in one of our most recent updates. It's got 5 victory points. What should players be doing as they, set out on this robust 4v4 map here?
Yeah, I mean, if we explore the map a little, I think that I won't speak for Will too much, but I believe the main idea behind adding the VPs was to add essentially a little bit more importance to some of the spaces of the map that were kind of being left open a little bit. They were important in their own ways, but now there's a more concrete reason to go for them. I quite like this map because you can it kind of goes into two very different 2v2s where you have like the fight in the industrial area in the south and then kind of in the sand. What are they? They're not sand dunes, sand canyons in the kind of in the north. And every time I play, it's a bit different. And then also you have these constant pressures to kind of play in the middle of the map as well, especially now with some of the point moving around. So, yeah.
What about you, Darren? What do you think about some early approaches or strategies here on the new Black Gold?
Primarily, well, at least when I played a bit on Black Gold, it's still primarily at least secure the fields, and then it starts becoming that slug for VPs later on as the 2v2s on both sides eventually could start converging into mid. It is into middle as everyone's trying to secure the VPs later on in the game.
Already seeing some fun strats come out. We have very early mortar from Vermax. We have double dingo coming out of Brits. Red is also going for, is that a barrack? Yeah, so he got a barracks and got out of mortar, and he has double airdrop machine guns. Orange is going for a pretty standard WSC play. And then we have both Bursas and Coastal hitting the field for Axis.
Our yellow deck player doesn't seem to have a lot. I wonder if they're going for a very fast tech up back in the base. Decent comparison.
I don't think he's got it yet because his feels the same. So I do wonder what he spent his manpower. Oh, maybe the early half track upgrade. No. Oh, Dingo got that one.
Looks like we did just lose a 2-5-0 on Blue's side, so that's a very big loss early on. And can't really afford to lose units as DAC early.
Did he build Bursa? Double Bursa 250.
Yep, it was double Bursa 250. Looks like he's actually nope. He canceled. He's now going Panzerjäger to replace.
Oh, he's hard building Panzerjägers. Interesting.
There are double dingles from one
That
players, and that's the side blue's
Ooh.
encountering on.
Yeah, and the sniper. 4v4 is always chaotic as usual.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think that's worth it? Like sort of stalling some of your openings just so that you can, try and tech skip or get something out a little bit earlier? Like I'm looking
yeah.
at the yellow DAC player. Like, do you think that's advisable, or would
I
you
think
try and get more infantry on the field a little bit earlier?
I think DAC can get away with it because their early tech can give them a lot more power spike into like very early units like the assault grenadier or getting access to combat half tracks early to get the 259 or mortar half tracks depending on the situation. And the extra armor in the half tracks does mean you can play a lot more aggressive with your 250s.
Well, it can. I mean, right now it's paying off. I believe allies are at 18 fuel and the Axis are at 28 fuel. Uh, so despite, I mean, yellow is yeah, yellow's only at 3 units, but the allies is still getting pushed off a little bit.
Looks like the dingoes are rotating though. Oh, I'm not sure if they're gonna stay in mid or start moving over
Wait,
onto.
is that an encircle? Oh wow, that's gonna be an enormous encirclement if or cut off if they get that off for Axis, I believe. Um, the entire industrial zone is gonna get cut off.
Right here, yeah.
But if you look to the north, the entire point just got cut off.
Oh, yep, yep.
Oh, so sorry. Yeah. No, these units are retaking. I wonder who actually went up there and took that. I see a dead 250, so maybe that's the culprit there.
That looks to be blues early 250.
Whoa, sniper in a 4v4.
Yeah. I think he sees his opponent going for very heavy machine gun play. He's like, well, I'll just poke at you from further away. Sniper has already gotten, I think, 2 or 3 kills now, which is always nice.
Yep.
Oh,
I just realized he is coastal. He does have double coastal reserves on the field.
you gotta be careful with that.
Sorry, I saw someone in the chat asking how you lock the camera to a unit in a replay. So that once you've selected it, you just hit the apostrophe key on your keyboard. At least I think that's the default, but you should be able to change that as well.
Yeah, it's a keybind. You can change.
Looks like the bursters are running back off to the cutoff. I believe that's the cutoff.
Oh,
Blue
it's still behind in field, which is important here. I think they've been behind on field long enough where it's going to start to tell a little bit on timings.
It looks like the Allies are building a fighting nest to guard that cutoff to stop any people from getting on top of it, and engineers denied to capture.
Yeah, I think they're sick of it getting cut off there.
Yeah, that's gonna be fairly nice.
Very early martyr from Yellow.
Yeah.
Nothing really for it to shoot at, I guess. Oh, he does have the quad.
cal,
He does
yeah.
have the quad half track. Like that it can fire at. So we do have combat half tracks. We do have the mortar half track and the 259. So looks like he did go those. Forgo some earlies for that. Forgo a unit for that early tech.
Yeah. With double. I think the DAX are split into 2 regions here. Yeah. Yellow's pushing up, taking control of this area, which is always really good. Because you can kind of pivot into either their cutoff or their.
We did lose a machine gun team. 2 machine gun teams, I think, for Red just went down.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
not
no.
good. Can we do?
Oh yeah,
find
in the
what
industrial
happened?
zone. Yeah, it seems like.
Because that is massive.
Did they pick up the guns?
Yeah, one
that's
just
one
got
gun.
stolen. It might not.
Oh, the other
remain
one's
stolen.
decrued over there. That probably survived. What's being called in there?
I think it was a decoy flare from the.
Oh,
Dingo.
no,
25 pounder base.
It's
out.
coordinated. It's coordinated fire.
And yeah, Red's army just shrunk massively.
Yeah, that's kind of the risk with like the machine gun builds is the moment it goes poorly, particularly in team games, it can be risky because the moment you lose them, not only do you lose the unit, but your opponent gains the unit as well. Yellow's on double martyr now. That feels like overkill.
Yeah, the Allies don't really have any light vehicles outside the quad that they can use offensively, and Martyrs, unless they get very lucky, are generally not going to be able to snipe out the dingo.
Looks like allies still have a fairly solid hold on all the VPs. Yeah, 349 to 482. They've been behind on fuel for a good amount of the game. They've recovered now. Oh, it looks like they have some.
Well, it looks
cash
like the
flow.
martyr did just
Drop the martyr, yeah.
it got sniped out by bazookas. Really a
Oh,
unit.
and immediately kill the wreck.
Really a unit you shouldn't be keeping that close to the front line. You always want something in front of it to draw fire, because the martyr itself is very squishy. Though if it gets another shot in, it might take out the half track.
Tons of guns, SLMGs, trying to ward them off. Ready? Yeah, that's a Neville.
Great level warfare in the queue for our Teal Wehrmacht player. Still not sure what building green has gone into. I don't see anything from the other tiers.
Axis actually had 4 martyrs between the 2 players, I just realized. That's a lot of AT. But, I mean, it's nice because it allows the Wehrmacht players to focus mostly on AI. Green basically has no AT and is taking advantage of his teammate here.
Can we take a quick look into the allied base to just see if they are at their got some of their final buildings online?
Nope. not
No
here.
tank depot. Do we see the tier 4?
Wait, was
anywhere?
that platoon or?
No, I think that's.
Oh,
I think we might have.
so 1, 2, 4 down.
Looks like they're still saving up.
Yeah. $200 fuel on some of these players right now. They're kind of just burning through manpower too much to take too much advantage of it.
Song Chi has 500 manpower and 200 fuel. But he doesn't have a particularly strong army, I would say. No way he's going to go for it.
But Axis needs to get some power out right now. Allies are going to hit some of their licking timings. Plus, they've been getting pushed off on VPs. I don't think neither Wehrmacht player is opting for any advanced infantry.
You have a Stug, though.
Overall, the amount of AI they have right now is not incredible. Wow, pretty deep push from Blue. I think he was trying to push towards the cutoff. Ran into another different player. Plus the bunker and had to basically pull back. They're still not getting the VPs is the
Do
thing.
we know what crashed in the background? Was that just the base howitzer? Because it did knock out the MG for a moment. Was that a satchel?
Can you reopen the guts for the allies? I don't know
Oh,
why.
yeah, I don't know why those kept closing on me.
Oh,
Red's
that's all.
army.
It's just non-existent. A paratrooper squad, an engineer, a mortar, and a garrison machine gun.
Oh, look at that.
Purple's army is not that big either. It's 3 infantry sections, engineer, and a dingo.
Allies have held onto this VP for most of this game. That might actually make the difference because right now, 150.
Oh, we got a lot of tank
VPs
traps up
difference.
over there. Which the allies are locking out the field from vehicle pushes.
I mean, it also generates a lot of cover. No wire down. Oh, they're trying to bust down this cache.
Looks like the allies are using that cache as a forward reinforce.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing in the
Or
production
retreat.
queue someone got a forward reinforce. I don't know if it's on that cache.
I think it is.
little
I
hard to
think I
see
saw
from
the
here.
icon overhead, but we need to
Yeah.
go back over.
So
We're going down.
this is a good pickup for Blue, definitely.
Oh, one little shell hit the
Rocket hit the oil rig there.
Yeah. Bunker's kind of at an odd angle, so it's pretty easily flanked here. But yeah, I mean,
being
regardless.
focused down by the
Yeah,
martyrs.
it's just gonna get blasted here. I think for both purple and red, their armies have been thin quite a
that
bit
pioneer
here.
just disappeared.
Oh, goodbye. What
Looks like-
artillery piece is
Looks
that?
like we do have Overwatch from the officer, is my assumption. Trying
Yes.
to lock it out from being captured. Denying the
I
kill.
can't have this field, but neither can you. Yeah. Is that a Hellcat out for Reds? Okay, so Red is on tier 4. So he will get back on the map eventually.
We do have a BL 5.5, I believe, also from our British player.
From the British player. But both of their armies have no mass. So I think if the two Axis players, if Teal and Blue realize this, they can do a lot of damage here.
Well, Teal doesn't have a lot of infantry to really push with. He only has a Grenadier and Panzer Grenadier. Well, Green is coastal infantry, so and support units.
So while we're watching this, I did see a question in the chat from Lord Chaos about just sort of like your general balance thoughts on the patch right now. Don't necessarily want to tease too much of what we're doing in 2.1, but maybe you can hint at some of the things that you're thinking about, whether it comes to big team games or just balance in general. Like, I know, of course, the big call out is things like the walking Stuka, but just more generally, what are both your thoughts on balance as it is?
I mean, we have a few things in the works right now. Probably the biggest thing for team games right now is kind of the wall of artillery. We're definitely looking at it as like, I think its current presence is a little oppressive. I mean, the pieces that are being used are a little oppressive. So the ones I look at is the Bishop and the Stuka. Funnily enough, we're not actually seeing them that much in this game, which is a bit of a surprise. There is one Stuka coming out now, and there is a Bishop on the field. But some things were like we're very aware that the Bishop spam is quite strong, and so is especially the Stuka's vet ability is very capable at wiping squads. So we're looking at both of those things. There's quite a few things we're looking at for team games, but artillery is probably one of the bigger ones. Surprising how little AI is actually on the field, or anti-infantry.
Well, Purple has went for double BL 5.5 and also pushed out a Grant in the meantime, so...
Yeah, we're seeing quite a lot of artillery, or not artillery,
It is
sorry,
Indian
AT.
artillery, so that does make sense.
Yeah, it's neat to see two BL 5.5s out.
No, they are kind of spaced pretty close together. You know, you want to put a little distance between your howitzers unless you got something like the ammo depot. Looks like we lost the allied guck again.
Yeah, I don't know if you're hitting a hotkey or something.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm just like clicking around with the mouse. I'm wondering if it's when I change the players. Maybe that's a bug. We'll have to get that logged.
I think Purple going for artillery and tech at the same time, while Red is also going full tech, means with no mass, like the Axis can just push straight through them. Like Red has no rifles, no meaningful amount of machine guns or like paratroopers. Brits need more than just infantry. Looks like he also doesn't have infantry training either, so those Tommies aren't that powerful. On top of that, there's scope rifles instead of Brens. So just overall, they just don't have what they need to basically hold the opponent at bay for the artillery to actually do the work. Oh, tungsten rounds out for yellow. Always nice to deal with things like the
Like
bulldozer.
the allies will keep their fuel at least up in the north.
Oh my god, is that a 5 cap? I just realized that we had a 5 cap
Axis
on
are
the field
pushing
for a
very
while.
hard. It looks like the allies don't really have a lot to defend.
Yeah, all of a sudden, the Axis are able to translate their resource advantage into a VP advantage. The Allies are getting pushed off the left side. Well, I mean, they're retaking it here. I think the artillery is starting to tell. Both Allied players on the north are playing somewhat slower builds, or more stationary builds. So as artillery kind of accumulates here, it's going to get ever harder and harder to play here. I think that's our first Stuka barrage.
Not sure if it wiped anything. Oh, Churchill's facing its rear. Where are you going?
And then
So we have counter barrage happening. That looks like.
Was that? What was strafing the BL 5.5s? Wait, oh, that's almost lost.
No.
Yeah, I feel like Blue and Teal here have been able to push right to the base.
Yeah, like
We
two
also-
stugs here.
Yeah, we do have double Stug pushing the Grant. They are soft counter to the Grant thanks to their strong armor, so they can at least ward it off. We do have a Hellcat supporting, but Red doesn't really have enough to.
Their armies are
hold.
just too small.
Yeah.
They're all
Just to realize, purple and red, or was it purple and red are together, and they are the smallest armies in that. In mass where, putting up a little bit of more of a hold up in the north with the larger force composition.
One
They
of them
do have.
probably needed to flood out in like mid-game units rather than both of them for tier. Ooh,
Yeah.
goodbye. Good hit there. But like, on, the Axis is literally pushing into the
Looks
base
like we
here.
did lose a howitzer though, so this is really bad if they're able to push into your howitzers. But I think he didn't manage to clear it, so we can at least get recruit.
Yeah, and with all the artillery now, kind of like looking for targets, the more stationary build of the allies in the north is getting pushed out as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like this game is almost well decided here at this point.
yeah,
I think I guess the southern players for the allies just lost a little too much, and the race to tech didn't really help them when they needed more units to at least hold and then counter push against the allies, especially if the cutoff was constantly being attacked over and over. Because Axis players, at least down there, going for something like early martyrs, does set you back if you're dealing with like large infantry compositions, because you're also paying for the tech to get that unit get out first as a response.
yeah. And now with four Stukas on the field, it's gonna be and 38 VPs on a 5 cap. Yeah,
Yeah, just
they're
a
gonna need a miracle
massive
here.
shift within like the past 7 minutes.
Yeah. One of the challenges is like finding the right timing to attack. Like I don't feel like either of the players individually made that bad of a decision to go for their natural tech progression, but one player going into artillery tech and another player going into tech as well is gonna cost you, especially if you lose units early on.
Mm-hmm.
GG's.
Yeah, GG's. So I guess we can come back to looking at our lovely devs here as I queue up the next match here. So, any sort of big picture thoughts on that match there? Like, what could the allies have done a little bit better there? Or I know you were kind of talking about some of the coordination between the Axis players. Like, what are some big takeaways? Darren, I'll start with you.
I think it's repeating what we saw with the Allied players, particularly down in the south, was their inability to really just hold, and counter push against their opponents down. They just had too few units. Like after we saw like Red lose those two machine guns, he didn't really have an army until going into that final tier.
Yeah.
And you really don't want to be sitting on 3 to 4 units at that time, because yes, you can go out for higher tier units as like any of the 4 factions, but there are counters for those units already in play generally, either in the form of like AT guns, anti-tank vehicles, those that can generally overwhelm that one unit that you might be trying to rush out. And without pushing power, you're going to constantly lose map control if you're, just dealing with a much larger army. You need to have at least have a decent army on the field before you can decide to go for tech, unless one of your teammates can really cover for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Jason, any final thoughts on that one?
No, I think I think Darren has said most of what there is to say.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like yeah, the one thing I'll add is like if you want to run artillery right now, you need something to hold them in place. Um, so you need some mass to kind of stop your opponent from pushing forwards, so then your artillery can kind of slam them. I think that basically is what happened on the left side or on the north side, where the allies were running around, running against enough enemy infantry where they couldn't move freely, and then towards the end there, they were able to pummel them out with artillery.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sounds good. So again, thank you to Ling Ling for submitting that on the official Discord. Please reach out to us there. Just add us or send us a message via mod mail, and we'll hook you up with one of the ultimate cosmetic packs from the in-game store. All right. Next up, we have here a 2v2. Let me switch our scene here. Okay, so let's hop into this 2v2, and this was submitted by Lady Rytsu.
Lady Rytsu.
And she actually sent over some notes as well, which I think will help us as we're talking about this game. Sorry, I also forgot to mention that last game, the ranks kind of ranged quite a bit. Most of those players were anywhere from iron to low gold. So this is obviously a 2v2 on Santuario. Ritsu and their teammate are on the allied side. And skill range here is Gold 1 to Challenger 4. So pretty tight in terms of skill level, a little bit higher level. So Ritsu also says, they have a lot of experience with the British, but not that much experience with the Canadian battle group.
Right.
So she wants to know, did I play a little bit too greedy in the early game? Was I aggressive enough in this match, especially during some of the team pushes in the late game? And they also had some questions around using attacking spirit and if they used it efficiently or if they could have improved in their use of that ability. So some things to watch for.
Spoilers. No,
Yeah,
I'm
some
kidding.
things to watch for as we
Yes, we will
go here.
see. We do see her build is sapper into the machine gun, so
Yeah.
they're going for a more, I guess, less standard mainline infantry focus. I think they're obviously wanting to get more Canadians than Tommies out.
Can we quickly switch to caster just to see all the battle group selections?
Yeah, of course.
I'm not sure. Well, I'm not actually sure if all of them are in yet.
So you got
So we have
advanced
infantry,
infantry, Canadian
Canadian,
shock, espionage,
Unchosen,
and
and
combined
then
arms.
versus.
This is interesting build. Generally, when you see like double deck out,
Ooh, triple scouts.
at least as the British, I don't feel the machine gun is the first thing you really want to go for. You generally either rush to Dingo or Section first because you want that mobility against a deck.
Two interesting builds already out. We have triple pile or quadruple piles, and then we have double Versa Panzergren, which is, I mean, it's not neither of those are that. Oh wow, 5. Okay, I was gonna say neither are that uncommon, but not
That's a
the,
lot of Panzer Pioneers.
yeah. And then we also have triple scouts from the USF player. Oh,
Triple scout
so a few
into
cool
double
builds
machine
here.
gun.
Both sides are going to be running around with a lot of smaller squads.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
There was a couple questions from last match that I didn't get a chance to. They're more general balance questions. Burn for me in the chat was asking why they might be seeing a trend towards decoupling veterancy barrages from standard barrages. So I don't know if you two have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I mean, I know this one has been a bit of a controversial decision with the community. The main desire here is essentially to counter blobbing by giving players the ability to use artillery while leaving essentially another barrage in reserve without necessary. Because one of the main issues is blobs are supposed to be countered by artillery units, but one of the issues with that is that if you have to wait until you see a blob to use an artillery unit, oftentimes that could reduce the efficiency of that unit by a large amount, especially since you're not always guaranteed to destroy or like heavily bleed a blob every time you see it. So the original intent was that you could use a standard barrage against normal targets and then still reserve an ability in order to hit like a target of opportunity, so to speak. So for example, the one of the first ones we experimented with tracking barrage was basically this exactly, where you use regular artillery against entrenched positions or team weapons and stuff like that, and if you saw a large blob of infantry, then you could then use that tracking barrage to then punish essentially that while maintaining the value of the unit. We didn't want to make artillery units all that much cheaper. In like, for example, we wanted to keep them as fairly high premium units, and also to make it so that diving them was worth it, without making their standard barrages so plentiful or so powerful that they were everywhere, so to speak. But we have definitely seen issues with how we've done them. I think the Stuka is definitely a main offender of like, well, its second barrage is extremely good at wiping units, which is not ideal in general. But you stack that on top of just the overall lethality of the unit, it becomes pretty annoying to play against.
Oh, that
Oh,
nothing left but a memory.
Just missed that. That was great.
Good hit there. So yeah, that's kind of our thoughts. I mean, we're still kind of working on exactly where to take it. I don't know if we're gonna. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do with that just yet.
Okay, that's fair. There was another question here about any thoughts on the U.S. forces and their reliance on armored and machine guns for their 1v1 play.
Yes, there are. We have been looking at some of those issues for the upcoming patch. We can't give too much information, but we are looking at least the barracks in some way. Very significant change to the barracks.
USF armored also like has been just I mean, it's a battle group that works is very good at doing what it wants to do, but it does it in ways that causes a lot of weird balance issues that I don't think is just easy to change without kind of like breaking the core intro, like what makes the battle group fun. So I do think that battle group probably just needs larger changes that we just can't really. It's hard to find the capacity to do that in like these balance patches. Like between Darren and I, there's so many different little things that we need to touch for various balance things and also things like bug fixes and all that other stuff. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard to support large changes like that because they require a lot of testing time, for example, and a lot of iteration time. It's hard to get these changes. It's one thing to be like, oh, this is a problem, reduce it, right? But it's much harder to be like, this is a problem, now replace it with something that's also fun but doesn't cause problems. That's generally what makes it a lot harder.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and it's more of a time thing. Like we're very aware that Armored has basically been the go-to battle group for USF, particularly in 1v1s for quite a while. We want to change it, but so far we haven't really found the best angle for it. Ooh, GRB here.
Using the smoke to cover.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, I've been like Red has led through 2 Panzer Pioneers, I want to say.
Yeah, I think so.
Ritsu did lose one of her sappers, though,
Lost the sapper, so pretty.
and we have
bloody
double
game.
L640. So
Ooh, here they
we
come.
do have a Humber on the way to counter, and none of these have autocannons anymore.
Yeah,
And one of
double
them has been
flamethrower.
also been marked.
I believe this is the first reveal of them.
Yep.
Okay, so now they have.
So the Humber should be able to chase this down, but I'm.
Oh, Piet! Oh, that's a kill. Oh, wait.
He
Different
needs
targets.
needs to keep chasing though.
He might get a second. No second shot there. Yeah, the Piet right off. Oh, the Humber. If there's no AT. Okay, a little.
I feel like she should have been able to get one of the L640s just by. Should have kept chasing, not just with the Humber. But
Well, I think she was scared of this, and
Yep.
here it
I
comes.
meant with the Canadians. Though the Canadians, like,
Oh yeah.
once you fire an AT shot, you keep your squad moving after the vehicle rather than leave them in place to reload, just so you can have a better chance of getting that next shot. And yeah, now Lady Rytsu doesn't have much of an army left, and I think she also just lost her machine gun, which is
Yes. I
massive.
don't see it on the Axis side right now, so I don't know if it's gotten stolen. But
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like she's going into Stuart Tech now.
like, if you were in this spot, what would you do? Like as blue here.
It would be pretty hard to come back at this point because your army composition is not the strongest. Canadians want to close in, but you're still missing a lot of your core anti-infantry firepower in the form of the basic infantry section, which is generally pretty good in this matchup against DAC, either for the early boys to counter the 250 or just, out shooting the DAC at long range with Tommies. And so generally, I think maybe going double Canadian might have been a stretch, especially against DAC. Maybe against Wehrmacht, because you can at least use the mortar against, Wehrmacht team weapons with the other. And it looks like we also did lose the
Just
other sapper
sidestep
squad.
that. Let's see. And by the way, the triple scouts were for artillery observers, which is a bit of a unique.
I wonder how many if we have beacons
Stop.
on the field, because they can be
I
pretty
haven't
good.
seen them. We don't have audio, guys, so we don't really hear the flares or whatnot going off.
The L640s are back. Looks like
They're
we're going to use
back,
lose an artillery observer.
Yes. L640s with the flamers, like the allies do have like decent AT to deal with these, but like both of their AT options are not that mobile. The Stuart just came out, so that probably will help quite a lot. But whenever there's like, whenever they see the bazooka retreat, whenever they see, oh, okay, both Canadians have Piets now. Okay, so a lot of AT is coming out.
So, and we got another Stuart in the queue. And with like, there's not a lot of anti.
Ooh,
We got
double mine.
I don't know. I don't think we have a follow up though, which is really gonna hurt here.
I mean, I don't think she has the info, but
Well, the mine did detonate though. So.
you know, but she doesn't have info of like where the two Panzerjägers are. Because if she knew there was only one, I think you could totally dive that with the Stuart and get one of them. I mean, so I don't think
Triple
it's
Panzerjäger.
whole. Okay, he's hard building another one. That's interesting. Red is going to be floating a lot of fuel if he commits to this.
We do
It-
have a Gustatory squad also hitting the field.
yeah,
So a lot of
that's
support squads, except the
that's
Gustatory.
interesting. He's going to be relying very heavily on the L640s and the Guastatori to do the AI here. I mean, he has 2 unupgraded Panzer Piles, so they can eventually get GRBs or flamethrower.
Play light vehicle training came through. All the Stuarts just got fed.
Yeah. I mean, this is gonna both with the way these builds interact. This is gonna be a very scary game for both players.
Oh,
Like,
grenade.
oh, ow,
Oh,
that
painful.
hurts. Those flamethrowers might. Okay, not quite.
He's the retarget
That-
on that 250. There we go. There's
that-
the kill.
Okay, for all things said and done, that didn't go that badly for Allies.
I think you could just push with the Stuart, the machine guns, keeping the Jaegers pinned down, and now I think you could actually just push at least
Yeah,
to
that-
get some of the map back. And
Yeah.
looks like the entire north is in the Axis
So
side.
you should chase here.
And
Okay. No hesitation.
Tread shot's going off though. Might be able to get this.
Okay, need attack rounds
Need
here.
one more shot though.
Both connect.
Should be able to
which
get
is
it.
very
There
important.
we go.
Nice.
And should be able to get out of there.
Wow. Even with triple Panzer Pioneers, an opportunity opens up where the Stuarts can get in and dive the flak reeling. That's going to hurt quite a lot for the double deck.
I think what is going to hurt there is Lady Rytsu doesn't have like a spare squad to really cap up north though. In the meantime,
Yeah, the amount of cap that Blue has isn't great. I mean,
poor Dingo's trying to pretend it can cap.
yeah.
It's trying its best, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Teal can supplement a lot of this, running around with, well, now double scout.
He's hard building a ranger. That's not something you generally see.
I mean, wait, so that means he built.
He has
Yeah,
a
no,
barrack.
he has to have a Rex.
He has a barracks. He's gone back to barracks tech.
Yeah, so T1, or sorry, T2 into T3 and back into T1. That is an interesting build. I guess, yeah, no, he's ISC. So he probably went for some of the IC upgrades. And then once those upgrades have told or are locked in, he can now get in Rangers. He doesn't have munitions to get any weapons on them just yet, but
Oh, that engineer is actually veterancy too. I guess it was their mine.
the mine layer.
I did see another question about,
Yes.
are we happy with the pacing and lethality changes that have been made recently? And should we maybe expect more iteration on that?
For lethality in general for the infantry combat? Or is this like lethality as a whole in the game?
I think in general, or just like some of the recent stuff that we've done in that department.
I think for lethality, we're mostly more fine now with how
Yeah.
lethality is in the game, both for early game and later as you go. We didn't want the game to be like as lethal as Code 2, where you take a step forward and you're very at risk of just losing a model only in that opening salvo.
Yeah. I mean, so far, the feedback that I've been able to collect, I think most people are pretty satisfied with it. I think we've hit the balance that we're aiming for. Again, we want lethality to be snappy enough where every second of combat matters. At the same time, we don't want it to be so sharp where, the moment you look away, your opponent can catch you with like a few units and suddenly you're, immediately getting blasted. We want to have we wanted to essentially with TTK give players at all times some ability to react to situations at like kind of like a reasonable pace. So units won't alpha strike each other all that much. That's why, for example, our vehicle lethality in general is lower than Code 2, for example. So, I mean, we're always going to keep an eye out on how the community receives it, but to my understanding right now is that it's mostly where we want it to be.
Generally changes you'll find to lethality is more to like a very specific unit for like maybe it just doesn't deal enough damage for what it needs to do, or maybe it's doing a little bit too much damage, but not like as a whole.
Red goes for an HMG. Holy. They
They're-
are hard committing. Wait, did Red build tier 4? Can we look at the base real quick?
Yeah, now
Yes,
they got Panzer
he
Army
does have
Command.
tier 4.
So they should be getting Panzer. Both of them should be able to get Panzer 3 soon. No, they
No,
do.
he chose an HMG over a Panzer III. That's the crazy thing.
I guess maybe, which is Yeah, which is weird. There isn't a lot of like heavy combat infantry for the allies.
I mean, blue is running around with a ton of AT, so I kind
Okay.
of understand it. The double Piets, double Stuarts,
but
and
not
an
like
AT
but
gun.
not like a large blob of anti-infantry squads on the field. I wouldn't
Yeah.
consider the Canadians particularly that strong in the anti-infantry role unless they can get their gammon bombs off. They are still a 1 CP squad, so they're not like true elite infantry.
Committing to the triple Panzerjäger is interesting because like I understand the idea is that you kill the Stuarts and your L640s can just basically run over the game. But so far, he's been unable to find a good angle on the Stuarts.
Mm-hmm. And Stewards can always just relocate to a better level. Oh, first Stuka
Ooh,
has
good
arrived.
hits. Yeah.
Or-
And like the problem now is that the Panzerjägers are gonna fall off, especially. I don't know if Ritz is gonna rearm the or refit the two Stuarts, but if she ever gets to that point,
yeah,
oh, demo
double
engineers,
demolition to
yes,
fill out the composition. So that would be nice. So you got now a much stronger infantry front line with both flamethrowers and grenades.
yeah.
So that should generally help fill up the gap that Lady Rytsu's missing, which is anti-infantry.
Yeah. Like when you go Canadians, do you go demo engineers or Churchills or the Croc? Sorry.
I probably lean more toward the Croc, at least to go because you go like multiple Tommies, maybe a Canadian in there, and that fills out your infantry roster, or for the most part. So,
Oh, Gammon,
oh,
predicting that they will run in doesn't happen. Still getting the
we might lose the
pyrotechnics
Canadians.
blind.
Oh, need to get them out there.
Oh, goodbye. Yeah, so this is kind of like what Red was envisioning. The Panzerjägers push
That
back
Gustatory
the
squad, though.
Stuarts.
That's a lot of bleed.
Yeah, and then
But the demo engineers are coming up. Should be able to force away the Panzerjäger, at least enough to open the way for the Stuarts to support.
I mean, there's also a Panzer 3 on the field. Oh, a little greedy on the micro for Red.
Oh, there goes our
And
first
that's one
L640.
L640 down.
There's so many
the-
flamethrowers.
Yeah, it took a lot. The deep. Oh, did we just
Yeah.
Did something get wiped?
Yes, I think a Panzer
No.
Pioneer went
Or, I
down.
didn't, or it might just been a model that was out of position.
Maybe.
Oh, but
That's
both
another
L640, so that's a big
Yeah.
loss.
It
And-
has found really
and-
decent, really good angles on
Oh, we just lost a bazooka
the
squad.
DAC
as well.
vehicles right here.
So yeah, and the one Panzer III is not going to be able to challenge double vet light vehicle training stewards because you got the tread shot to worry about. So and once the Canadians come back onto the field, they'll also be able to help shield the stewards against the Panzer III.
That was a really unfortunate loss for Red because essentially his composition was reaching the point where it would be really nasty. You had triple Panzer Pioneers, or sorry, I keep calling them Panzer Pioneers, the Jaegers to deal with the two Stuarts. And then you had two L640s and a Panzer III and a Guastatore to match two pieted up Canadians. Like that would in general just be a pretty hard fight. Especially also Red also has the machine gun, so the Canadians can't just kind of stand in the open.
Yeah.
Where is
like-
Red's machine gun? Was it even there in that fight?
It's in
a
a house
building.
somewhere.
Oh, it's in mid. So
Yeah, but I think Red has just been out microed so far.
well, you're also seeing the issue of the Panzerjäger because you have less range. You're kind of forced, and if you're on the attack, you're kind of forced to use them in a way they're not really great at, which is just moving forward because they are a low squad count size. So it is easy to focus them down, especially if they encounter anti-infantry units.
Ally is definitely in a happy spot now. I don't know if Ritz's got. Yeah, no, they're building it right now. So the tier 4 is down.
Wonder if he's
It's gonna be
refit.
really it's gonna be very nasty for the Axis players once Blue transitions to tier 4.
Because I don't.
Especially the triple Panzer Jaegers are gonna.
Oh,
become
that friendly
good
mine
mine.
though. That was not good. Oh,
Oh,
we just lost the
goodbye.
Panzer Pioneer. They stepped on their own mine. And
No.
now they're
That's awkward.
Yeah, now Red's in a really uncomfortable position where, but basically every time the Guastatore is retreated,
Oh, watch the Stuka rock. Ow.
oh, good hit. He's gonna have no answer for the two Canadians. Like, despite the Canadians having the Piets, they're more than comfortable enough in combat.
Against
Like,
the
especially at that too. Especially like if he lost all his Panzer Pioneers, but if you had a bunch of Vet 2 Panzer Piles, you could probably compete with them. But I mean, Vet 2 Canadians versus essentially AT infantry and a single
It's very
engineer.
one-sided.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
And yeah, it looks like the stewards are just able to push because
Oh,
looks like they hit a teller mine though from the Gustatori, so that is an instant
okay.
kill.
Yeah, mines win games. We've seen some pretty nasty mines come
Yeah.
out. I wonder if
Um,
the mine that killed his own squad was also Teller.
I did see another question about if either of you have had a chance to watch any of the recent tournaments that have been happening,
Yep, we
and
took a
if you
look.
had any sort of takeaways on anything that you saw there.
um, Darren, you've watched
Yeah, I watched some
the
of the
meta
tournaments,
plays one,
so I
right?
think
Yeah.
I think I will put my at least for the USF thing. I think it's even if we corrected, let's say, some of the issues like maybe armored or the like, I think there is a need to take a deeper look into at least the US barracks play
Yeah.
in particular, because that it's less that WSC is so good, but the barracks generally is much easier to counter for the Axis factions in comparison, just because you have to invest in riflemen. Riflemen are an infantry unit, and there will be things like the 221 armored vehicles from DAC.
Are
DAC
those
and just
champions
machine
coming
guns that can deal with them, so it
Those are
will require a bigger
Sorry.
look into the barracks. Oh, Chaffee is dueling with the Panzer
Yeah, so
III, though.
Teal just opting to stay on tier 3, which, I mean, right now makes a lot of sense because
Two more Chafees in the queue, so it does.
Chaffies can kind of compete with P3s. It's not the most efficient thing. You obviously would prefer Hellcats, but because Rytsu is transitioning into tier 4 here, having one player stay on medium or on low tech and one player on higher tech probably is the safer
Oh,
option.
that Ranger squad might
That
come
hurts.
down.
Especially with how close things are right now. Purple's been doing quite well. We haven't talked about them too much.
Oh, mark target though on the Panzer III, so
yeah.
that's going to do a lot more damage for the Chaffee, though.
I don't think he wants to risk it. He definitely could have
Rocket
went
might
for
get
one
the
more
Chaffee.
shot.
Oh, that was a creeping barrage. So I wonder if Teal's gonna finish off the AT gun. It is just sitting there after the D crew. Looks like Rytsu also did send off the Stewart to get the Grant on the field. That will
Going
be
up straight to Grants, which is going to be quite effective for her. The
We have the
Panzer
foot
Jaegers
guards.
are going to struggle to just I mean, they're going to be able to attack the Grant, but it's not going to. Every time the DAC player goes for a trade there, he's going to get put behind in manpower every single trade, and Ritsu just needs to accumulate a good amount of Grants. And just continue to bleed red. Red's gonna have to transition into some kind of counter for them. I don't know.
The Grant's just kiting the Panzer Jaegers
Oh,
with its
yeah.
additional
He's
range.
just gonna blast them.
Just a Tory, and yeah, don't really want to send those up. Those are expensive to reinforce.
Yes.
Oh, but Grant's overextending.
There's still 3 Panzerjägers. Gotta be careful.
We do have a foot guard section on the field, interestingly enough.
I mean, there's very little contesting them. There's a single Guastatore and a single machine gun. The two Panzer IIIs on the field. The foot guards can fight quite
Infantry
effectively.
assault has hit the field. They're pushing.
Yeah, infantry assault. I mean, I think Red's responding quite well with an 88. I think that's exactly what he will need. I don't know if actually getting it as this unit right now makes the full sense. I don't know.
Another Chaffee in the queue.
We have another question from chat.
Yeah?
Devs, what are your thoughts on the viability of riflemen currently? And are there any plans to make adjustments there? This person says that it seems like riflemen are mostly only viable in the top 250-ish currently with many builds, finding unique ways to avoid building them.
Yes. We are definitely aware of the imbalance of barracks play right now. We are experimenting with different ideas because I don't think it's as simple of a matter as simply making riflemen more effective. One of the major challenges of that unit is also that their performance in team games and 1v1 are drastically different. Probably the most extreme of any of the main lines of in our game right now. See, them and the Palm Grenadiers are basically competing, where DAC infantry is way better in team games than they are in 1v1, whereas I think riflemen in particular are much worse in team games than they are.
It looks like Purple just lost the Panzer III down in the south.
Yeah.
And
But yeah, we're going back to it. Like we're definitely looking at it. We're still figuring out exactly what we want to do to it because, like, yeah, if we just gave the unit power, we would go back to essentially the issue where they would be really good in 1v1. They would be kind of mediocre in team games. Um, Now, to some extent, that's always going to be true to kind of the core design of the unit. But we're gonna try and see what we can do with that unit. But also with mainlines, we probably should just share this. We're very reluctant to do any major changes to mainlines. Not because like they don't need changes. It's more just any slight change from us on mainlines has a dramatic influence on basically every level of play in every mode. Um, we have a few anecdotes we have of like, oh, we made Grenadiers 10 manpower cheaper, and that meta was just like Grenadier spam everywhere, for example. So we're very careful when we have to touch these kind of things because any little change has a dramatic impact on the game.
And there's also like when we did do the change to the Panzer Grenadier and the bike at the same time, that made it very oppressive in the 1v1 where you could just push someone's cutoff
Yeah,
in the first 3 minutes of the game and you couldn't fight that.
the community is too good at finding all of the hard edges that it could work for maybe 50%, 75% of the time, 80% of the time. But then the community will figure out, hey, what's that 20% of the time it doesn't work, and then just bash in the game with it. So
Oh,
we have to be
infantry
very
subs
careful.
going up north.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just help out.
Oh, we got a bunker.
The
Panzer nest is on the field.
both factions, or sorry, both sides pretty deep into their late game transitions here.
Do we know if Clara has the ISC upgrades aids locked in? They do have a lot of chaffies, but do they have any upgrades on the
You'd have to switch off of caster mode to check.
I mean, we can check. We got time, right?
Leisurely check.
They got no, they
Yeah,
got
so
two.
they have two. Yeah.
Oh, they also got the cheaper mines and abilities, which is nice if you can get those set
Yeah.
up.
So yeah, I think the idea was
No big mines.
so their late game was going to get carried by essentially the upgraded IC.
Looks like
Giant attack here.
we do have an Overwatch though in effect. That's going to block off the grants from participating.
Yes.
So the Chaffies are on their own, but looks like they're just
Yeah,
forming
they
down.
just found. I think that was 5 Chaffies chasing into. What was that? 1 Panzer 3? 2
Yep,
Panzer 3s.
2 Panzer 3s. I
Yeah,
think.
big
And
smoke shot on the
They
88,
got the
shutting it down.
They got the medical truck as well.
Yeah. That's really good play. Teal has been consistently kind of pushing into the midpoint, connecting purple and red, and I think at some point he forced off purple just enough to be able to squeeze that in. Because I mean, if you look at the deck composition, they have plenty of anti-dive AT. I mean, they have literally 4 Panzer Jaegers, so being able to find that angle in that situation, very impressive. And it's gonna pay off. Like that's gonna be very dramatic in terms of the power balance in the top. Without the Panzer threes, Red has basically no answer to any of the infantry that Rytsu's running around with.
And that doesn't help. We got the double grants also on the field. It can just plaster
Yeah.
the gustatory.
The Panzer threes were holding up both AT and AI there, so definitely getting pushed off. Purple kind of just forcing down mid now that a lot of the Teal's vehicles are kind of out of commission here.
AT guns holding on with the entrenchment.
Oh, Greyhounds right in it.
Oh, it's got canister loaded.
No, AT.
Oh, that's a decent hit. How was he squad off?
Yeah. Purple going combined arms. That battle group isn't going to offer too much at this point in the game. I think we saw the Overwatch down.
Another 88 coming onto the field though.
Yeah. Which makes sense. I mean, Red at this point basically needs the ability to just alpha strike some of these vehicles. That's probably going to be his main way of contributing. So it's going to be a struggle. He doesn't have enough units, let alone having the right units. Teal is almost pop capped. Yeah, he's at 53 pop.
I think the allies are doing a better job in the Axis, at least occasionally helping each other on each other's front, depending on the situation.
Yeah, Red's had a really cool comp. It's just he keeps losing the units to really good play. like that machine gun getting flanked and whatnot, and these units kind of holding. I mean, the Guastatori are gonna clean this up, but
There's
like,
still only Vet 1, and they're going to struggle.
yeah, that's
Oh, now,
also
well,
really
Gasper's
painful.
Curse. Under Vet 2.
Yeah. It's gonna be a bit better now that they're vet 3, but or vet 2. But I think he lost the medal. Yeah, the red also lost the medal. Oh
A
yeah.
big push for the
Okay,
Allied
giant
vehicles.
push here.
Looks like they're just going to take out
I
Red.
don't know if the 88's like this is why he needs the 88, but it's not going to be set up in time. He immediately loses the truck. The two 88s are paired up together, so this is really scary.
Yep. But looks like the infantry are now pushing in, and Red doesn't really
And
have
they
anything
don't have
to hold.
the AI. Where's Purple's infantry? He has a huge infantry force that can definitely fight this.
Looks like they're just
Big
going to
strip run.
move it. Oh, we just lost the walking Stuka in the background. Looks like the Chaffies went for a dive in the back.
Oh yeah, this probably was
So we do
happening.
lose a Chaffee.
Oh, one Chaffee down.
Well, we lost-
88. We have
we
a
lost 2 to 3
bishop
Chaffies.
shooting at the 88s right now.
Recruiting the 88.
Oh.
I
And
don't-
that's another kill.
That's all the Chaffies gone, so that is a significant loss.
There's still one more. Rangers uncontested sitting in the middle of this. That's going to get quite a few kills. And also, the kills are going to generate a lot of energy.
Oh,
What-
there goes
if
the
that,
Panzerjäger squad.
yeah, if that Ranger gets to vet 3, which it is, I mean, both teams trading down now. Red down to 3 units. Teal lost, I believe, probably half of his army.
It looks like they also lost all their artillery observers as well, so they don't have any. They just have that Greyhound from their initial motor pool, and then they only really have the Rangers now. Another Ranger in queue though.
Yeah.
Not something you see often.
So now we have the situations reversed. For most of the game, red and blue have traded out and just been bleeding units, while purple and teal have held fairly large sustained armies. Now it is the opposite. Well, okay, at least for allies.
Grenade assault on the Greyhound to try and get it.
Yeah, I mean you this might be able to
Oh.
wipe it with the.
Nope,
Yeah, it's not worth it. He's
Panzer
not
Grenadiers in the
looking
area.
for, like if there was a single martyr or an AT gun or something in the fog of war, you would lose it. So he doesn't go
Red
for
might
it.
try to save for a Tiger at this point. No, I'm not sure they have armored reserves. Looks like we have double Stug call in. From
Oh,
Purple
double
for-
stog call in. There it is. Trying to
Bunkers
build
going up.
bunkers.
Yeah, good luck
That's
with that.
bad.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, those-
Red's has been reset to the Stone Age here.
I don't think they're recovering anytime soon, Captain.
Yeah. Like at this point, you're gonna your only bet here is to play double up and try and shore up any gaps that your teammate currently has. So, I mean, he does have the double 88s. He's probably getting the medical half track to both or truck to both reinforce them and to be able to tow them because he's out of tow sources.
What's that red off map? Is it the Obiche?
Oh, yeah.
Looks like the engineers should be able to get away.
Okay, that's a very expensive off-map called in.
I think Rytsu could send off one of the engineers to the north. Though.
That 3 Rangers. Yeah, you're not beating that with a single handed grand.
Well, yeah, that one as
Yeah.
well. Not even
Yeah.
that 2 or 3.
Despite having a large infantry force, Teal has been able to find the right angles here and just be able to fight off Purple. Like Purple has quite a lot of infantry, like between 2 assault grenadiers, a palm grenadier, and double bursas, like he should have
88,
enough.
what are you doing up there?
Yeah,
That-
overly towed a little bit too far forwards is going to immediately lose it.
Yeah, and the allies are focusing the gun.
Yep.
For anyone out there, you can use attack move on neutral objects such as structures and abandoned weapons to break them after.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to call out because I know a lot of folks will forget about that in the heat of the moment.
Double bishop though for the allies, so they also now just have the hard counter to Red's composition, which is was team weapons.
I feel like if Rytsu was like a professional wrestler, the double bishops would be their finishing move.
Yeah.
Double bishop off the type.
The allies have
Bro.
definitely found some very important angles. I think in like the moment-to-moment fighting, the Axis has been doing just fine. I mean, it's still a very close game in terms of VPs.
Yep.
But like the allies have found 2 pretty critical engagements.
Allies do need to get on VPs, and yeah, the squad should probably break off and head up north to start capturing and harassing because red doesn't have a lot to defend. If you can clear that bunker and the MG team, you pretty much have full reign of the north. Nothing really can contest
We
you.
have a Vet 3 Greyhound on the field as well, which pretty much means Teal's going to be uncontested in the south. The fact that he's capping it right now is probably a testament to Purple doing.
Looks like
You
they're
know, a lot of
purple and
work.
red are trying to now stay together because
Yeah, they have to. But like, I think they keep having their AI and their AT desyncs, right? Like right here on
and we
the
just lost the
screen.
truck.
Yeah, it just doesn't have. The AI is getting blasted by the grants. Now the infantry are going forwards.
Yeah, there it
But
is.
yeah, between the barrages. Oh, is those two gammons? Yeah.
So that's just a
Goodbye.
combined armor strafe. A lot of damage on purple's units. It's purple. Purple does have their med truck, but I'm not sure if it. Oh, it looks like he's being forced to pull his infantry up at least one squad off the field.
And Red is now down to 2 squads. He lost both the truck and
Getting
the
side
88.
hits as well with the grants.
Yes.
I'm not sure
Pulling
if the
back.
Jugs can really advance though, because once, well, okay, it looks like the Canadians are off the field, but once they come back up, oh, the Sherman went down.
I think that's an out of control crit. I wonder what killed it.
I think it was the doubles that Panzer IV with the
Oh,
tactical advance.
yeah. And
88 is going to go down. Machine gun bunker was cleared. No, they're still allies are still not able to get onto the north VP. And I would probably bring the grants around up north to clear that machine gun if it's still there.
Red has been able to hold on.
I mean,
to
it's
this
just
VP
sitting there.
with very little. But at the same time, allies only really need to hold on to 2, and they know their armies are superior. So I mean, as long as they just kind of keep all of their units together and keep playing like this, I mean, it's gonna be slower, but it's gonna.
Looks like
We're
Red
gonna get where
is
they
trying
need
to
to be.
save for that Tiger though. Look at this
That's
that's
that's a bold move. Considering, I mean, they do have 100 VPs, and the allies have been slow to
the
get to
allies
north.
are now capping north though.
But saving for a Tiger when you have 2 units, 37 minutes in, that
Rangers are going in against
that's
the
a move.
Gustatory.
Yeah, no, Vet 3 Rangers. win this.
MG might not make it back to base, and then Red
Yes.
Tiger is on the field, but you have 2 units left if you lose that MG.
Okay, out it comes. This is gonna need to be a very heroic Tiger. Very, very, World War II Germany of like, well, surely this
Uh-oh,
one
Hellcats
Tiger
are caught on the building.
will win us this entire engagement. Then again, Red doesn't really have that many good options, so I don't even think it was that bad. Is that bad of a decision? The main challenge here is that the Axis's AI is completely outranged, especially now that the double grants, like I think they have been telling here, like they're shutting down a lot of the anti-infantry
And
that
that Vet 3
Axis
Ranger
has.
squad.
Yeah.
Off it goes again.
Like, fighting a Vet 3 Ranger is already hard enough to begin with, but, like, if your Guastatori can't sit there without getting blasted by grants, if your Assault Grenadiers can't sit there without being assaulted by grants, you really don't have that many options.
33
looks
kills
like-
on the Rangers.
Yeah, that's definitely paid itself off there. The Tiger, I believe, is now engaging the grants. No, not quite. A little slow to get
Looks
into
like
the
it will be,
battlefield.
but there's so much. Like, also, I believe they can just chain stun the Tiger with the critical shot from the Canadians.
Yes.
And then there's the
Yes.
staggered shot.
Yeah.
We do have the Obiche barrage
And
coming
these
in.
are Vet 3 Canadians. Like, yeah, it's a Tiger, but you're fighting
And
an
Bishop.
entire army of double Bishop shots connect.
Oh, friendly fire.
And goodbye. That's a.
Yeah, there was just nothing to really support the Tiger. Just kind of went off in its own against 3 anti-tank squads to try and get a grant.
I mean, if those were Vet 0 Canadians, maybe. Like, I mean, there's just so much there.
There's so much stun potential in that. You have the foot guard stagger shot and the 2
We have
crit
3
shots.
AT stuns between the 3 of them.
That Tiger didn't stand a chance once it closed the distance. But
I mean, if it was Vet 1, it could have used the S-Mine launchers, I guess, but it was not Vet 1.
well,
Question from
okay, now they are on 2 VPs. I think they got
Axis
this.
need a miracle here. What was the question? Sorry?
Yeah, any chance of seeing an artillery unit for the US forces that isn't battle group based? Or is it still
That's
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, Jason, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like we're kind of maybe past the point of like really messing with the core rosters.
Yeah. Um, it's definitely been a conversation we've had multiple times, both during production and immediately after launch, all the way up until now. The main challenge is like it is both. I mean, it is both an immediate solution to a lot of the problems the faction has, but it also causes a lot of problems. And also, we just don't have an good way of solving it either. So right now, I don't think there's any immediate plans to address that.
Mhm. Yeah, no worries. Um, yeah, so I think
That's
that'll
a
wrap
fun
it up.
game.
That was yeah, it
I
was a
think we're
really
looking
fun
pretty
game
dire. I
to watch from
thought at
Ritsu.
one point for the allies, like
Yeah.
you're down to 2 to 3 units. That's I don't know if you can recover from this one.
Yeah, we didn't watch the South too much, but like the Allies definitely found multiple major engagements that mattered quite a lot. There was the engagement where Rytsu was able to find basically both L640s and the Flak Veerling, kind of in like an extended kind of sequence. We had the major Chaffee dive that basically, I think that one pretty much won the game there. But on top of that, there was a third final engagement where they cleaned up the double 88s with a big attack there. And it's like Axis always had the tools they needed to fight off a lot of those things, but the Allies always found the right angles. Slash, whenever a lot of the time, Purple had a lot of his anti-infantry units somewhere else, and they just pounced on that. And it was
Yeah,
yeah, it was well played.
that's a big thing about team games is neat knowing like when you should go to support your ally on the other side of the map rather than just constantly essentially make it like essentially splitting the map into two 1v1s because that's not how the game is played at the higher levels. It's like you want to be able to rotate into different lanes, the strike where the enemy's weakest and overwhelm them before the other player can respond.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. So again, a huge thank you to everyone that submitted replays. If we didn't select yours this time, we'll maybe get to it next time. But Ritsu and Ling Ling for submitting your replays and having them selected. Please reach out to us on Discord, and we'll get you set up with some ultimate cosmetic packs. But yeah, I think that'll probably maybe do it for now. So thank you, Jason and Darren. I know you're both hard at work on update 2.1. And hopefully we'll have some more news on that soon. And of course, thank you, Hannah, for watching the chat and pulling some questions. And I think we'll probably end things there. So thanks so much, folks. Have a good one, and we will catch you next time.